Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here coming to you live from, oh jeepers, look at my hair, Indio, California. Hope you're all having a super fantastic, sparkling Serenity Sunday. Yes, today it is Serenity Sunday. It is a beautiful day. There is a lot happening today, but I'm glad that it is Serenity Sunday, and I get to spend it with Zeffy today. Today's all about peace and calmness and finding that place. And this morning's off to a rocky start. Sorry, it was 3 years ago today that we let Gus go. So this month's a bit of a turmoil month for me. It was 3 years ago today that Gus went, and I'm glad that he's at peace and all that, but we had a good life with him. We had 12 and a half years with him. He was 13, we got him when he was 8 months old, and he was 13 and a half when he passed. So do the math that way. We had him for just over 12 years, and he was a great dog, and I have now been blessed with a gorgeous puppy that I know that Gus would approve of, full of the same energy and puppiness that Gus had. Not the facial expressions, but definitely the puppiness. Gus I always called him a puppy. And up until he started having his medical issues a couple of weeks before he passed, he had maintained that puppiness. And, I didn't think it'd be this hard to talk about him, but it is. So, but I know he's in a better place. I know him and Brad are together again. And in the meantime, I have this bundle of joy, who usually goes running in the mornings. Zeffy, really? Zeff! Come on. Come on, Zeff. Zeffy. Hey, verbal. Nope, completely ignoring me. Par for the course in the morning in the dog park, because there's so many smells. So yeah, it was a Wednesday when I walked out in the kitchen that day, and it was just after. It was almost 2 weeks It was almost 2 weeks since we tried to take Gus into the hospital to see Brad, and we couldn't take him in there. And I still remember. And that day that I told him he couldn't go into the hospital to see Daddy was one of the worst days, because he just put his head down and you saw all the excitement just drain out of his face and out of his eyes. And it was at that point that he started going downhill, and he went downhill fast. He was gone a week and a half later. But coming out that Wednesday morning, that's a look I will never forget. He just lifted his head up. I came out of the bedroom. He was laying on the floor out in the dining room area. He just lifted his head, and he just gave me that look that no dog owner ever wants to see on their dog's face. It was just sort of like, it's time for me to go, Mum. I remember sitting there with him and crying and hugging him and calling Brad and saying, it's time. And that's all I said to Brad as soon as he answered the phone. I didn't even say good morning or anything. I just said, it's time. He says, okay. He says, call the vet and see if they've got somebody that can come out to the house. And so we got all that organised, and I just spent the day just hugging with Gus and laying there hugging him. The vet turned up around 12. And she was awesome. And we got Brad on a video chat so that he could say his final goodbyes to Gus. And he did that, and then he wanted me to record it and so I recorded it, and he never saw it. He said he'd watch it later, and he never did. And then my friend Amy came down from LA, and she got there just after we put Gus's body onto the gurney, and the vet was busy wrapping his body up and just left his head open. And I didn't realize that Amy had never met Gus before, but she had heard so much about him and seen him in the Facebooks and that, and that was the first time she got to meet Gus, was just his body. She didn't get to see him in spirit, but she got to hear about his stories and stuff. And we sat there for 4 hours after the vet left, just talking. And then I went up to the hospital, and Brad and I got to grieve together. I remember all of our best stories about Gus, and like the time that he moved his crate. Yes, his crate lived in our family room back in Virginia, and we had a half wall between the breakfast area and the family room, and it sat just the other side of that half wall. and it was on the east wall facing west. So the door would face the west side of the house. And I came home one day, and Brad calls me on my cell phone and says, "Where are you?" I said, "I'm in the driveway about to pull into the garage." He says, "Put the car in park right now and come inside right now." And I'm like, "I can't. I'm about to drive." He says, "No, do it right now." And I'm like, "What the hell's going on?" He says, "Just do it." So I put the car in park, went inside, and Gus's crate was on the west wall facing east. So the complete 180 degrees from where it should be, and on the opposite side of the room. And by the drag marks in the carpet, we figured out what had happened. Is he had pushed the tray out of the bottom of the crate. He had pushed his tray out from the bottom of the crate. Then and at the bottom, if you've ever seen a dog's crate, around the sides and the roof has a tighter weave, I guess you could call it, on the railings and stuff. But on the bottom, there was like 2 wires, 2 bits ran from front to back and 2 bits across. And he had walked, by the drag marks in the carpet, he had pushed his tray out and then walked his crate down between the couch and the easy chair. He had popped open the bottom lock. He had pulled the floor cushion into the crate with him and then walked his crate back, so it was now facing the opposite direction from where it started, on the opposite side of the room. And then he proceeded to shred the pillow. And it was one of those pillows where the stuffing is so tight, the moment it goes rip, the thing just goes poof. And he's sitting there proud as punch. He's sitting there, he's got his chest puffed out, big smile on his face, tongue hanging out, puffing away, going, "Look what I did." And I said to Brad, I don't know whether to scold him or laugh, and we just cracked up laughing because he'd figured it out. He had done that. So after that, wire ties got put on the bottom of the crate so we couldn't push the tray out anymore. But that was just one of the many things he got up to. And here comes my happy puppy. There goes my happy puppy. Come here. Sophie. Nope. Busy exploring. So, we've got many funny stories. And him and he'd never been around babies before Darmic came along. And he was so gentle with Darmic. Him and Darmic became best mates. And I got great pictures of the two of them together. And Gus always loved Wednesdays because Wednesdays was the day that we would babysit Darmic. And he knew he got extra tidbits because Darmic would be in the high chair and he would just put his hand down and feed Gus. And he'd close his fist up, and then Gus would lick his fingers until Darmic opened his fingers, and then he'd eat whatever was in sight, and he would gently take it out of Darmic's hand. Except for the couple of times where Gus would get the fingers unfurled and go to eat what was ever in his hand, and Darmic would quickly go and eat it. And I was just like, gross, but what could you do? It was done. But so Darmic loved Gus, and he'd always get excited when we got near the house. It didn't matter which direction we came, because he'd start going, "Papa, Gus, Papa, Gus, Papa, Gus." That's all you would hear from the back seat for the last 2 minutes of the car ride up to the house. And would get out, and he'd go, and when he could, he'd go running in. When he finally learned to walk, he'd go running towards the door. "Papa, Gus, Papa, Gus." And then, of course, he'd get in there, and there'd be Gus, and there'd be Papa, and he didn't know which one to go to first. So Gus always loved Wednesdays when Darmic would come over, and the two of them would play together, and Darmic loved being inside Gus's crate. And we got photos of Gus and Darmic in the crate together. Like, Gus would go and lay in there and think, "I'll get away from the kid." And then Darmic would follow him in there and sit there beside Gus and just play. And Gus would just look at us like, "Really?" So I have lots of great memories from the 12 plus years that we had Gus. And so today's a little tough because it's been 3 years since he passed. But then my friend Jason sent me the movie poster of Overcomer, saying, "Can you believe it's been a year since you went and saw this?" Because I had tagged him in the post saying that for the first time I was going to go to the and I didn't actually make the connection that I did this on the same day that I was celebrating, or that I was observing Gus's second 2 years since he had passed. And I said I didn't realise that those were on the same day. But Overcomer, so it was this day a year ago, I went and saw Overcomer by myself in the movie theatre. I had not been to the movies by myself. Okay, remember, this is by myself. I've been in the movies many times over the years and stuff, but I had not been to a movie by myself in a movie theatre since E.T. came out. And if you remember what year that was, that'll tell you how long it's been since I'd been to the movies by myself. So going to the movies by myself after that many years was very different, but the movie was great. And it wasn't until I saw it in my memory thing this morning on Facebook that I realised that Gus's second anniversary and seeing Overcomer were the same day. And then, like, I had just finished reading all of that, and of course all emotional and everything, and Jason sends me this message saying, can you believe it's been a year since we've seen Overcomer? And I sent him back a message going, yeah, and I didn't realise that this happened on the same day as Gus's second, the anniversary of Gus crossing the Rainbow Bridge. So he was like, wow. He said he didn't realise it was the same day either. So, but today I get to remember Gus, and I get to remember Brad as well, because the two of them were like, they were good buds, those two, and they're resting together now, looking down, and they've sent me this energetic, lovable, cute, oh, hang on, fun-loving puppy. I'm sure that Gus and Brad have had their hand in this pup coming into my life. I'm forever grateful for the years I got to spend with Gus. And I've already had some puppy lovey from this one this morning too. Hey, Zeph. Hey. Yeah, just give me a glance as you run on by. That's not a problem. So, oh, and then the other thing before I forget is Happy Father's Day to my dad in New Zealand. Yesterday. Sunday, which was yesterday in New Zealand, was Father's Day. And in New Zealand we celebrate a little different to the Americans. The Mother's Day is the same day here as it is in New Zealand, but Father's Day, we do that in September. So today, in observance of Father's Day yesterday in New Zealand, since they're subtract 5. Since they're 19 hours ahead of us, so happy Father's Day for yesterday, Dad, and I love you, and I'm so thankful to have you in my life. I've been very blessed with both my parents, and I'm thankful that my dad's still with us. He's a jack of all trades, is my dad. Whenever he comes over, I have to have the daddy do list ready for him, because if I don't have a daddy do list, he will make his own daddy do list. He goes around and fixes what needs fixing and helps make things better and tightens up what needs tightening up, and he's just an incredible person. And I've learned a lot from him over the years, and I still learn from him this day. 53 and a half years later, I'm still learning from him. So there's always something you can learn from your parents, and I am grateful for every day that my dad is alive and that I can still call him. And I don't want you chomping on that one, sweet girl. Nope. That's not a good stick for you to be chomping on. Sorry, I just threw a stick that she was chomping on that she shouldn't have been jumping on through the fence. She's now trying to figure out how to get to it. Ziffy, come on. Let's go run. Go run. Come on. Now she's found another twig to chomp on, but it's a different bit of wood, so that's okay. But yeah, so I am very thankful. I'm very blessed to have the dad that I have, and I'm very thankful that he's still alive, and that I can still learn from him and still call him up when I need to. I'm his only daughter, so yes, I'm a daddy's girl. But so happy Dad's Day to my dad, and I hope you had a super fantastic sparkling Father's Day yesterday. I'm just trying to figure out what my dog is doing. She's still trying to figure out how to get through the fence to that bit of wood. But it's currently, what are we at, 96 degrees this morning, Zeph? Going for 120 again. So we survived yesterday, but we're going to go back inside in a few minutes and camp out for the day again. But I've got some training videos I need to watch today, so I'll be doing that. And since I have Overcomer on DVD, I'm going to sit down and watch that again this evening. I said to Jason, that might become my yearly tradition on the anniversary of Gus crossing the Rainbow Bridge. That might become my yearly tradition now, to watch Overcomer, to remind myself of all that I've been through, all that I've overcome, and all the great stuff that's still ahead of me. So have a super fantastic sparkling Serenity Sunday. Take this time to hug those you love and tell them that you love them, and just find the peace in the day, the quietness in the day, and make it super fantastic and sparkling. Oh, so get this. Oh, Gus is going off to see if he can find, hang on. There's this minivan that's just come in the gate, and it's now over at the dumpsters. Zeffy! Ziffy's going over there to say hi. But I think they might actually be campers here in the campground. But it's just the fact that they went over to the dumpster to drop dust. Here comes Ziffy. Come on, there you go. Woohoo! Good girl. Go, 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 go. We're in play mode now, so we're going to go play. So have a super fantastic sparkling Sunday. You want to tell them to have a super fantastic sparkling day too, Zeph? Hey. That tongue. Go get some water. Okay, have a super fantastic sparkling Serenity Sunday, and we'll catch you guys later. Hey, Conera.